What's going on, guys? Phil Harris here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you my progress that I've made learning how to scratch. And just specifically so you know exactly what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be running you through every level that I've gone through in this video game that is learning how to scratch, and show you my progress and where I'm currently at with it. I thought this would be a really interesting video for you guys to see, for three reasons really. The first reason is it's interesting for you guys to know that sometimes us YouTube DJs don't know it all, and sometimes we have to go away and actually learn stuff ourselves, like scratching. Scratching is a perfect example because having learned it over the last couple of months, it's the closest thing to actually playing an instrument that I can get to with DJ decks. You see, a lot of DJing is like I explain how to do something, you understand how it works, and you can go and pretty much replicate it because you understand what needs to be done. Whereas with scratching, there's actually some muscle memory stuff that needs to go on for you to actually get good at it. And there can be quite frustrating things about it, which brings me on to my second reason I'm making this video. It's because I'm actually intending on making a full scratch course. And I want to make sure that I'm teaching you guys in a way that's going to really make it simple and not frustrate you, and kind of get you there as quickly as possible, way quicker than it's taken me. So this is a really interesting thing because when I make my course, I'm going to be able to come off the back of knowing exactly what position you guys are in and what worked for me. The third reason I'm making this video is just to stamp a moment in time and go, look, that's how good I was at that point, deal with it. Now look how good I am. Which is also an interesting thing and something you guys should do with your own DJing, future. It's just take some videos of you DJing so you can look back and go, oh, I'm so much better now than I was then. Sweet. Now, without further ado, let's just jump straight into this, and I'm going to show you the progress and exactly the steps I've gone through, and I'm going to show you how good I am at each of these steps, what I'm currently working on, and some of the struggles I've gone through. Let's do it. Okay, so these are the stages I went through when I learned how to scratch. The first one is simply called the baby scratch. Simple enough, you have a scratch sample and you just move it back and forth to a beat. It looks a bit like this. Okay, the second thing I learned was to kind of break up that baby scratch. So when you push it forward, you kind of separate it into two motions and then come back. It looks a bit like this. Okay, so the third thing I learned how to do is introduce the crossfader. What I would do is let the scratch sample play, turn the crossfader off to bring it back, and then let it play again. So it looks a bit like this. And to a beat, it would look a bit like this. The next thing I learned is something called the Chirp Scratch, which is essentially where you push the scratch sample forward, and as you do, you close the crossfader, and when you bring the scratch sample back, you open the crossfader. It looks like this. And to a beat, it looks a bit like this. The next thing I learned was something called the stab, which is essentially where you push the scratch sample forward, open and close the crossfader during that forward motion, which creates a stab effect. It looks a bit like this. And to a beat, it would look a bit like this. The next thing I learned was something called a scribble, which is essentially where you push the scratch sound forward, bring it back halfway, push it forward again, and then pull it back the full way. So it looks like this. Okay, so the next thing I learned then was something called a flare. This is where you push the scratch sound forward and you close and open the crossfader in that one way. It's a bit like the opposite to a stab. So it looks a bit like this. And where I'm currently at the moment is I'm trying to learn something called the crab, which I'm finding unbelievably difficult. The crab is essentially this. You have the crossfader shut, and what you do is you bring your fingers along, and in that slight second where every finger touches the crossfader, it opens the crossfader up and your thumb keeps it shut, and your second finger does the same thing, and the third finger and the fourth finger. So essentially, if you do it quickly, And I'm finding it difficult. But this is where I'm at with it at the moment. So essentially, that's where I'm at. But here's the thing that's really frustrating about scratching that people don't tell you about, which is once you've learned all these different techniques, it's not just, yay, there you go, you've learned these different techniques. It's you've got to be able to perform them in a really musical way by stitching these things together. And that's where this really gets difficult, and this is what I'm hoping to really push in my course, is different rhythms and patterns that work well together. So once you've learned how to do all these things, you can put them all together in a way that looks really impressive. Because ultimately, that's why any of us are actually learning how to scratch, so we can actually put a bit of a performance on. You don't just want to learn how to scratch, you just know you can do it. You want to be able to add it into your DJ sets. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do like a little kind of performance. It's not really a performance, it's just going to be me piecing a couple of these different things together that I've just shown you in a way that's like the best I can do right now. Like I said, this is just stamping a moment in time. Let me know what you think. So there you go guys, that's probably about the best I can do right now. And you're probably thinking, why the heck have I shown you this? Like, why would I jump on and show you that I'm not amazing at scratching at the moment? I've done it for that exact reason. Because if I just waited another 2 months and jumped on and showed you some absolutely ridiculous scratch routine like all the other YouTube DJs out there, you might look at it and feel a bit demoralized in the same way I felt when I looked at these people do these insane scratch routines. It's like, I'm never gonna learn that. But actually, everybody just starts somewhere, and it's good for you to see me in this intermediate stage, not just when I'm ridiculously advanced in a couple of months' time. Hopefully, this will inspire you to just stick at DJing and practice stuff that you actually found quite difficult, because if you practice, you're going to get freaking good at it. There you go guys, I'm going to leave the video there. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Leave some comments below, tell me what you think, and make sure you go and watch this video right here, right now. It's a freaking good one. Ciao!